Now it's time for today's perspective. And my guest on the programme today is a singer and songwriter who tonight is performing here in Paris at the Irish Cultural Centre. It's part of a special evening that aims to blend words and music together. Now Farah Elle is a Libyan-born Irish singer-songwriter, defined then, if you like, by her Libyan roots. She's going to be performing songs for piano as well as selections from her debut album Fatima that weave together pop, touches of R&B, jazz and Middle Eastern music as well. Before we talk, let's hear a bit of an example of her music, shall we? This is simply called Desert. Pretty dramatic, isn't it? Tell us about the track, first of all.
Desert was written really quickly. I actually lost my phone at the time. Okay. And I was really enjoying the space that I was getting mentally. So I put it together in about 15 minutes. And then it just slowly grew over time. Yeah, I mean, it's probably one of my favorite songs on the album. Yeah. It's really about that place where you are just alone and you don't have to entertain anybody, and it's that peaceful solitude.
Okay, you certainly get it listening to it. I was talking to Farah just before we came in here and I said I got an earworm listening to it yesterday. It was going round in my head for the whole day. I mean, would you say it's typical of your music? I mean, what do you aim to achieve with your music?
What I aim to achieve with my music is really just a sense of cathartism for myself, is to really just express whatever's going on internally, how I see the world, how I make sense of things, and yeah, that's really it. I do it for myself first and foremost.
Yeah. I had a quick look on the Irish Cultural Centre website where you're performing later, and it said your songwriting touches themes of mourning, survivor's guilt, empowerment and revolution, but also love and spirituality. So there's kind of like, it felt like there's almost everything in there.
Yeah, everything. Yeah, for real. It's just it really is a place to try and make sense of it all, isn't it?
Let's talk about your background. You're Irish Libyan, so born in Libya, but your family moved to Ireland within a few years, is that right?
Yeah, when I was a baby, we moved to Ireland. So I was raised in Ireland, but very much fully Libyan, and I was raised with Arabic, thankfully, so I still have the language, even though I complained about learning it.
I mean, that must have been quite unusual, wasn't it, growing up in Ireland with that background?
Yeah, it was. There was culture clash for sure. But as you get older, and especially the way things are progressing quite nicely in terms of embracing all the parts of your heritage, it became something that I was quite proud of. But definitely growing up, I just wanted to blend in. I didn't really want it to be a thing at all, you know.
But you obviously like that now and you embrace it. I mean, why do you think it's important to keep that heritage that you have and the heritage of all the culture, I suppose, alive?
Because it's part of you. So I think it's important because it's not everything. It's not your whole identity, but it is part of you, right? So to deny something that you grew up with and really shaped your experience and the way you see the world would be to deny different aspects of yourself. And sometimes I think especially for the children of immigrants, it can be really, really difficult to embrace it all, because sometimes actually integrating can be quite difficult, maybe for family or for parents or whatever. So sometimes negative affiliations can happen with those parts of yourself, but if you learn to embrace it and enjoy it, it can become something that's kind of light and beautiful. So that's what I'm trying to do for myself. Well, I think I've achieved that at this stage, but it's definitely something I used to try to do to give myself a bit more peace.
And what about your Irish heritage? Irish as well. I mean, do you manage to weave that into your work as well? Do you
Well, I mean, I just grew up there, right? So it's everything. It's the environment, it's the nature. I think when we were looking at that clip of desert there, I sort of thought to myself, isn't it so interesting how that's on a beach in Wicklow in Ireland, you know?
It doesn't, yeah, I mean, it could be the Middle East or wherever, or it could be anywhere, couldn't it?
I think that was intentional. My brother directed the video, Abe Nahum, and I think he did that intentionally now that I think about it, actually. It's quite clever, but yeah, it's just bringing it all together to fully accept and embrace who I am.
And what about your love for music as well, aside from the cultural side of it? Where does the music side of it come from?
Definitely, I remember as a child, whenever there was food or music, people were generally quite happy. So that for me was definitely what drew me to it. And yes, my mom used to play these mixtapes in the car, and I just loved listening to music in car rides with her. So between that and being absolutely blown away by the Islamic call to prayer every time we visited home, I think that spirituality piece came in with it without me even realizing, to be honest. But just what it did for my spirit really is what I fell in love with music for.
You're not on your own tonight, are you? You're going to be joined as well by a poet and a comedian, kind of all mingled in together. How does that work?
I don't know.
Have you spoken to? Do you know them? Have you spoken to them? How are you? You've worked out how the set is going to work, if you like. You're just going to make it up as you go along.
We're going to figure it out. Yeah.
Okay.
Like we're not all going to be sort of, you know, each one has their own set at different times. But yeah, I think it's going to be great. That chapel is so beautiful. Oh my God. So yeah.
You've already been and had a sneak preview then.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you should come.
So what's next on the cards?
A lot of writing. A lot of writing and a lot of finessing projects.
And you do enjoy that as much as the performing?
Oh, probably, no, I was going to say more, but actually, no, I really enjoy performing as well. But I really do love the world that you go into when you're writing. It's a very insular process. So the performance is quite different in that it's outward. Yeah, so just a lot of writing. Just really want to finish some projects, and I'm quite different now than how I was when I wrote the album. So it's nice to perform them from kind of a more matured place. So it's cool.
Well, enjoy them both. Enjoy the writing. Enjoy this evening as well. I hope it goes well at the being organised by the Irish Cultural Centre. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
And talking to us on the programme today, Farah Elle.